Self-led leadership is about identity and operating system. Yes.
What is this operating system?
You have to answer 4 questions. When you have found yourself, you do not need social media likes to feel happy when you wake up in the morning.
At what point can they retrace their steps?
You can be distracted your ambition that you miss your purpose.
What are some of the things that we must begin to unlearn?
What is your assignment? To do that, you need to answer 4 critical questions. The conversation is to press pause and say, who am I? Where am I going? Who am I serving?
Welcome to the God I See You podcast. It's good to have you join us.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I like to ask it this way. How would you introduce yourself with the problems that you solve?
I'm a leadership architect, and I aim to provide clarity, or let me say, I aim to facilitate the seeking of clarity as far as children, young people, young adults, families, organizations, and countries are concerned.
Wow. That's interesting. Let's stay on the leadership architect for a while. So as an architect, what are you actually building when it comes to individuals first before we go to organizations?
I hold the position that our world lacks people who know why they are on earth. So my job, or what I have taken it upon myself to do, is to enable people to find out why they are on earth and to develop a plan for living it. Okay. That is what I do as a leadership architect. So as you can see, an architect works with the client on the design that they want. Right. So my job is to facilitate what you want, to help bring clarity and some sunshine on the questions, the burning questions that people, especially young people, young professionals and families have been seeking answers to.
Wow, that's interesting. So we are created in the image of God. There is an assignment on our lives. We believe that God didn't just throw us on this earth. He sent us with purpose. So is it the discovery of the God-ordained purpose, or is it just ambition, personal ambition, that I want to become this, so guide me to it?
It's a two-way thing. Depends on how you look at it. Okay. Identity and purpose, they flow from relationship.
Okay.
So when you say God-ordained purpose, if God is your father, and that is where you derive your identity from, then your purpose will come from his will for you.
Right.
It is not, there's no contention about that.
Okay.
You only succumb to ambition when you have not found a relationship, which is when you then do what you want to do as you are led, or by your whim and caprice. But when you have been able to clearly define, trace your route to the Father, who then gives you your identity in life, you do not pursue anything other than why he called you.
Interesting.
Yes. So for me, identity follows from relationship. For instance, as we sit here today, I am a Kwewu man. You are an Ekuapim man.
Yes, I am.
You are Ekuapim because there is a relationship between you, your father, your grandfather, and your great-grandfather.
True.
Your claim to be an Ekuapim cannot be divorced from that relationship.
No.
The day you divorce yourself from that relationship, you don't have an identity.
That's true.
So a lot of men are struggling, or a lot of individuals are struggling because they want to operate outside the relationship, which is then you are led by your stomach, which we call ambition.
Right.
Because then you are pursuing what you want because you do not know where you are coming from. How can you call yourself a Ekuapim had it not been for your grandfather?
Yes.
How can you define your purpose in life if you don't have that relationship with the Father?
So if you are in relationship with the Father, then you ought to pursue what the Father is calling you to.
Sharp.
And by that, you need to discover your identity together with the will of the Father.
Sharp.
So if you are not in Christ, what happens?
If you are not in Christ, then first of all, your identity in itself, that's what we mean by you are not grounded. What is your foundation? What are you standing on? So without that foundation, you are lost.
Okay.
Without that foundation, when anything happens to you, you will not be able to stand the test of time. Exactly. And so by worldly standard, you can achieve as much as you want in your passion and in your mission and in your ambition. But because that identity, that achievement is not standing on a grounded identity, you are lost. And indeed, if you study the lives of many by worldly standard, wealthy people, celebrities, well-to-do, you can see that they have achieved their vision, their mission, and probably their ambition. But because it is not standing on an identity, inwardly they are empty.
Right.
And so they keep going after things, thinking that it will fill the void.
Right.
But because there is no identity, no matter how many millions we throw it in, million times zero is what?
A zero.
Yes. So without the Christ foundation, no matter what you do, it will amount to nothingness. And that is what we say, that some people are not grounded. Some people, they are not grounded because the core is hollow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Since you deal with individuals all through to dealing with nations and countries, looking at their leadership architecture, do we have people, especially in the corporate world, who we will call successful? They are achieving on all fronts, but may not have discovered their identity.
Many, plenty.
How is that possible?
Yes, there are two concepts here. There's something I learned from Professor Aride years ago called the successful failure syndrome.
Please repeat that.
The successful failure syndrome.
Okay.
And then Michael Hayat, one of my mentors, also talks about the double win.
Okay.
So that's the concept you are referring to.
Okay.
You know, in life, there are two wins. You can win the public one and lose the private one.
That's right.
And that's what you are referring to. That gives you the single win.
Okay.
That makes you a successful failure.
Wow.
It is akin to climbing very high on a ladder, but that ladder is against the wrong wall. Yeah. You know, some people will climb the corporate ladder and step on others to be able to climb.
Yes.
They have risen on the back of backbiting, jealousy, envy, lies, sheer treachery. If you do that, you can rise to become the CEO of a global company. But you yourself, you will feel a void inside you because at your core, you know that this is not it.
Okay.
Then there are also those who leave everything else and pursue that single focus on success.
Yes.
Their families are in tatters. Their marriages are in tatters. Their children, they don't know them. And so at the end of the day, when they sit down and they are stripped of the titles, the physical achievements, they feel hollow.
There's nothing to
There's nothing to tend to. So that wall is leaning against an empty wall. That ladder, is leaning against an empty wall. And you also have the double win. To win in private and win in public. And so the two cannot be divorced from each other.
Okay.
And for me, the private win is the first one.
Okay.
To do that, you need to answer 4 critical questions. Now, you said the title of today is self-leadership.
Self-leadership.
I have a concept called self-led leadership.
Self-led leadership.
And that is the critical one.
Okay.
That is what we need to be talking about. Self-led leadership. Because self-led leadership deals with identity.
Okay.
And your operating system.
Okay.
Self-leadership deals with your foundational competence, what you are good at, what you can do, your ability to combine your head, your heart, and your hands.
Okay.
Your cognitive, your emotional, and your practice of behavior.
Right.
That is self-leadership.
Okay.
To intentionally combine these three in exercise of your purpose in life. That you are good. You are one of the best communications experts in Ghana or West Africa. Self-leadership. You are one of the best accountants in Ghana. Self-leadership. You are one of the best engineers in Ghana. Self-leadership. Foundational competency. But self-led leadership is about identity and operating system. When I strip you of communications officer or auditor, who are you? When I strip you of your houses and cars, who are you? When I strip you of your ethnicity and tribe, who are you? That's self-led leadership. Okay. Have you found yourself? Do you know yourself? Have you found your calling? What are your giftings? What are your values? Are you well put together? That is what we mean by you are grounded. Okay. That is how can some people live in Trasaku. They are lucky if they sleep 3 hours every night. Because the operating system is leaking.
Wow.
And some people are in Malacca market. All they need is having black mosquito coil. They will sleep for 9 hours a night.
I tell you.
Because the operating system is grounded. That is how come some people can go to a restaurant and still feel agitated because the waiter did not say sir before serving them. And somebody can be eating gobe in Kaneshie and he is on top of the world. This is the difference between the two. And so you can achieve if you have learned self-leadership. Okay. Because you are an accountant, you have attended courses, you know how to schmooze in the corporate world. You will rise by the law of nature. You will rise. Okay. But the operating system, self-led leadership, is leaking because you have not found us.
Wow. So let's talk about the operating system.
Yes.
What is this operating system?
You have to answer 4 questions.
Okay.
First of all, who am I? Identity. Who am I? Why am I on earth? Purpose. What is important to me? Values.
Okay.
What do I want to do with my life? Mission. 4 questions.
Identity, purpose,
values,
mission. And mission.
Yeah.
This is how you discover the operating system.
That's right.
Okay.
And when you have found the answers to this one, in fact, they say that is your second birthday. The day you discover the answers to this question, that day you have found yourself.
Wow. So everybody must be interested in finding what their actual identity is.
That's right.
Away from where I come from, who gave birth to me.
That's right.
And all of those things.
That's it.
Then what is my purpose?
What is your purpose?
That is the why.
Yes.
Why am I here?
Why am I here?
And then values.
Yeah. What is important?
What is important to me?
Because your values is like the steering wheel. That will now drive the car. Without the values, where is the car going? So that car is very solid, fully air conditioned, everything works, but the steer is what will drive it. Because without that, anything goes.
Yes.
Without your values, your choices become burdensome. But when you have clarified your values, choices are very, very easy. And then finally, mission.
Mission.
You are called to higher service. What do you want to do that is higher than you? That's your mission. You must find it.
So this is for every individual to discover.
Everybody.
It's important to go through these 4 steps and answer them.
If you want to be grounded, if you want to be happy and fulfilled.
So without identifying these 4 and religiously going through them step by step to be able to know where you fall at a certain point in your life, the operating system has not kicked in yet.
Yes, you can buy the latest laptop. But if it is the software Pentium 2, you know what will happen.
It will give up.
Exactly. That is how come when you know your values, you know your identity, you know who you are, you are not minded by how a waiter addresses you at a restaurant because you know who you are. You don't need that validation from a waiter.
Yeah.
Exactly. When you have found yourself, you do not need social media likes to feel happy when you wake up in the morning. You would allow social media comments to drive you to suicide simply because you don't know your identity. And you are allowing, or you are now depending on others to validate your existence. When you do that, you consistently be hollow, you'll be empty, and you don't know what to do.
How does the way most Africans, or just to bring it down, most Ghanaians, how we are raised as children affect the discovery of our identity?
I like it. It's a very intelligent question. You know, it can make or break us depending upon how we see it. I think I kind of like the old-time religion, the old-time way of schooling.
Okay.
Where the mission schools had schools. They grounded their pupils or their students.
Right.
Because Wednesday, from morning to like lunchtime, you were grounded in the precepts and in the doctrine of whichever denomination you went to school in. On Sunday, you had to go to church. Otherwise, you'll be beaten on Monday morning. And I think they help in helping people discover themselves or giving people the tools to discover themselves. Now, if you want to understand how you were raised, you know, affects there's a model called Robert Dilts model. Robert Dilts was a German behavior scientist. And he said that for you to understand yourself or for you to, you know, appreciate where you are coming from, there are about 6 levels that you need to go through. Now, at the bottom of the pyramid, the basic of these building blocks of who we become is environment.
Really?
Yes. You know, your environment shapes you more than anything else. If you like, check Accra, where you grew up in Accra, you know, shapes your behavior. You see that. If you grow up in Roman Ridge, you see that you're walking and everything is very
different.
If you grow up in my area,
oh Lord,
that one too, you're walking is different. Even your language is very different. You know, because in Kutubabida, you be always like, where am I going? So you see that even your language
is informed by your environment. It's
informed by where you grew up in. So even in the bigger corporate called Ghana, there are subcultures.
Yes.
You know, Accra people are different from Kumasi people. Subcultures. Kumasi people are different from Tamale people. Subculture. Now, even in Accra, you will see different suburb differences in language, behavior, conduct, attitude, and that kind of thing. Accra people are very different from Tema people.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So environment influences a lot of who we are and become. Even though most of us downplay it. Because the environment is asking the question, where? Where were you born? Which house did you live in? Then when were you born? Now this is what is giving us the generations. So even the period that you were born in shapes you.
Wow.
Yes. You pay attention. The children born this year, they are going to grow up likely, let me use the word likely because of what I'm doing now. They are likely to grow up very agitated because of the geopolitics happening around this time. So there's a lot of global uncertainty. The children born around the COVID period, we watch them. So when you were born, influences in who you are and your choices and who you become in future. Environment. Then you move to behavior because your environment now determines how you behave. So for instance, you know how to eat certain foods because you grew up in an area where it was predominant. So behavior is about the what. You know, so you grew up in an area where, for instance, everybody was disciplined. It shapes you. You grew up in an area where it was free for all. It shapes you. So behavior, one. Then you come to the next level. The behavior now produces capability and skill. So how? The behavior, what you've been doing over time consistently now gives you a skill or a capability.
Okay.
So if you spend 3 years studying accounting, then what do you become? You become a skilled accountant. If you spend 7 years studying medicine, what do you become? You become a skilled doctor.
Yeah.
All right. So capability and skill. Then you move to belief and values. That's the 4th level. Beliefs and values. Now, beliefs and values helps you to answer the question, why? Yeah, what do you believe in? And that then shapes what you do.
Okay.
Your value system is what drives your daily choices. Your belief is what drives what you do. Our belief as Christians is the reason why every month, before you even spend your salary, you will divide it into 10 and take a 10 to some place.
Yeah.
Nobody can change that behavior until they have changed your belief.
True.
And nobody will motivate you to practice the behavior until they have also installed a belief.
Yes.
Which is why our pastors spend a lot of time helping us to understand the Bible.
To be grounded.
To be grounded in the belief. Because once you understand the belief, automatically your behavior changes.
Okay.
Then you move to the 5th level, which is identity. Identity is who am I?
Who am I?
That's why we talked about it.
Yes.
That my identity as a Kwewuma is because my father and grandfather and great-grandfather were Kwewus. Now, I am a child of God because my father is the God.
Yes. God.
Without him, I can't say I am a son if I don't have a father.
True.
And so who I am is because of what I believe and what I have connected myself to.
Okay.
All right. So I cannot divorce my identity from, as I said earlier on, the relationship that I have with certain people.
Yes.
Great. So then the last level of behavior for you to understand yourself is spirit. Okay. From identity, you move toward spirit. Now, for whom? For what? We are servants of God. So when I do something, that is how come I will give alms to somebody and say, I am doing it for God. For whom? For what? That is how come somebody to do what they call zakat or saraka. And they are doing it because of a certain belief.
Right.
That is how can somebody go and donate to an orphan home and say, I am doing it for my God.
Yeah.
So in everything that we do, if you want to understand yourself, the highest level is spirit. For whom do you live? For whom are you acting?
In whom do you believe?
In whom do you believe?
Okay.
That is why one staff is a person of integrity. It is not because the boss is watching him or her, but they serve something. So when they behave, they are behaving for whom? They are not behaving for the boss. They are not behaving for the head of department. They are doing it for somebody higher.
Yes.
And they will say that, yes, my boss is not here, but my Father in heaven sees me. So I won't do this.
On that score, in a predominantly Christian country, many people subscribing to the Christian faith, is it that they have not understood the spirit part of this?
Yes.
Or they are just not grounded yet?
I think it's a bit of both. It depends. I think that society is becoming more flippant.
Okay.
If I may use that word. Over time, we have seen in our lifetime the gradual erosion of even what it means to be a Ghanaian.
Yes.
We have seen that.
Yes.
Now, it is because, one, we are spending little time discussing the most important issues. Also, the instructional elements, let me use that word, the school, the church, parents, grandparents, they are also in a way shaking their responsibility. Schools now think that their number one duty is to produce 100 BEC passes.
Yes.
And you see them, print billboards, big ones, designed by the likes of Derek.
Yes.
And they say 100 passes in BEC.
Yes.
Now, when I train teachers and parents, I ask them a question. How many of you, when you were ready to marry, called for the grade point average of your future partner. And the question I always get 0. Nobody looks at academic qualifications. They look at character, values, compatibility, culture.
Yes.
And yet in school, what are we producing? Grades. So there's a misalignment between the assembly line, the production line, and the shelf where we sell the end product, which is why we are confused. So we are all dancing mess-up. Do you know mess-up?
No, I don't know.
We are messed up.
Because we are not identifying the right things that have, for want of a better word, eternal value.
Lasting value.
Yeah.
Not only are we not identifying, we are not instilling it. In the days where you be taking to your grandmother in the village, so that she'll pump something inside you small. Today, the grandmothers are wearing sneakers. So they are working. They are working. They don't have time. So who are you taking food to? And then coupled with the fact that new media has brought a proliferation of channels that are propagating and selling all kinds of spirits in the atmosphere 24/7, 7 days a week. You are seeing it. So we are not being deliberate in installing the identity, the belief, and the spirit in our generation, which is why people are confused, which is why the buildings are getting taller and flashier, the cars are getting bigger and flashier, and yet at the core, we are seeing a gradual disintegration of our society.
So if somebody at this point is a manager in a corporate institution, listening to what we are sharing so far, haven't discovered their purpose, like you said, if you take the title manager from him or from her, there's nothing else that they can hold on to. Do they have to go back to their environment? Do they have to relook at their behavior? Do they have to check their skill? Is it a problem of belief? At what point can they retrace their steps and say, I missed it here, but now I want to correct it?
Very intelligent question. So you can't change the environment. I mean, your childhood is gone. You can't. You are not Nicodemus.
Going back to the womb.
Exactly, you can't. So what can you do? Start from behavior.
Okay.
So go back and start from behavior. So, but the key is to sit and reflect.
Sit and reflect.
Be intentional with your thinking and say, why do I tend to use this language? Why do I tend to behave this way? Why does this thing take me off? What is my default mode? You see, so be intentional with the thinking, who you are as a man or a woman. And then you will begin to understand yourself better.
Okay.
Begin to think about your thinking.
Think about your thinking.
Yes, it's called metacognition. That is the highest form of intelligence. To have intentional thinking time and begin to say, who have I become? Who have I become? Now, even, at tertiary, do you know that people who went to certain universities and certain halls tend to behave a certain way? By default, without thinking about it.
Right.
Because that is how they were socialized for 3 years, for 4 years. So the key to rescuing yourself is to now go back and say, I spent 4 years in Katanga or Unity Hall or Casford or wherever, which is why I tend to think this way or I tend to behave this way. Now let me go back and correct it. So it is possible. There's in my line of work as a life coach, there's something we call the inner child wound.
Inner child wound.
Yes, you can go back to that wounded child and heal it.
Wow.
You can. I know somebody who originally trained as a pharmacist, but is today a practicing lawyer.
Okay.
So at the competency level, you can always go back. Train 7 years, Practiced as a pharmacist for many years. Went back to law school and is a lawyer now. I know someone who is a doctor. It's practicing lawyer. So the skill and competence you can always work.
You can always go back to it.
You can rescale. You can upscale.
Okay.
By being intentional, about it. So the key is to begin to discover yourself again. Unless you are born again.
Yes. You cannot.
Be ye transformed by the
renewing of your mind.
Euclid, you and I, every day, we go through between 30,000 and 65,000 thoughts every day. 80% of it is what? Automatic.
Right.
Repetitive.
Yes.
We don't think about it. So you see, most of us, our lives are on autopilot.
True.
Have you realized that since you learn how to drive, you don't think about driving?
No, I don't.
You just move. It's become automatic. Have you ever thought about how to brush your teeth?
No.
Have you ever thought about how to bath? Have you ever thought about how to eat your favorite food? But have you realized that it takes you a bit longer and you think about it a bit longer when you are learning a new skill?
Yes.
So it's the same thing. If you don't pause, stop, and reflect, you'll be going till you are 90 years.
On autopilot.
On autopilot. Which is why Zig Ziglar says that some people died at 25, but they were buried at 75. Which means that for 50 years, they were on autopilot. They don't know who they are. They didn't discover their life purpose. They just went through the grind or the hustle. And that's the saddest mistake.
Yeah.
The greatest mistake on earth. Which is why some authors say that the richest place on earth is the cemetery.
The cemetery.
Because most people never discovered their purpose.
Yeah.
They lived full.
So it's important for us to have a conversation with ourselves.
Sure.
Retrace our steps. I read somewhere, I've forgotten the name of the author, but he said leadership is a conversation. And the most important conversation is the one you have with yourself.
That is the self-led leadership. Earlier on you referred to ambition. You can be distracted in your ambition that you miss your purpose.
Okay.
Yeah, the ambition. I want to build 100 houses. And every day you are sleeping 4 hours a day. You just be building this, that. And then you finish and you are like, what? Which is why the good book, the Bible says, what shall it profit a man?
Yes.
If you win the whole world
and still lose your soul,
you lose your soul.
The most important of
So the conversation is to press pause and say, who am I? Where am I going? Who am I serving? What am I doing this for? So the difference between those, you can have two business people and one is very fulfilled, very satisfied and having the best time of his life. Same level of wealth. Another one is increasingly agitated and empty. It is because of purpose. What are you doing it for? You are doing it for ambition. He's doing it for purpose. If you don't press pause and stop to reflect on your life journey, because you see, you can be running very fast like Usain Bolt, but on the wrong track.
Yeah. So this intentional thinking, being intentional with your thinking, having conversations with yourself, pressing the pause button to reflect. Is this something everybody can do on their own or must do on their own, or you need external influence? Do you need to sit with your parents? Do you need to go to your mentors? Can other people give you feedback to help you in this journey?
You can do it yourself. You can also seek help. I had my light bulb moment when I read a book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
In 1995.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So you can do it by yourself alone, or you can also seek help. But whatever it is, today there are frameworks to support you.
Okay.
For instance, look for the Robert Dilts model. It will help you to clarify the most existential questions you would ever ask yourself.
Okay.
You can also use, there's a tool called the Wheel of Life. It's a baseline for assessing your life.
Yeah.
You can use that one to determine where you are and then to reflect on the areas that need revision, improvement, and stop. So it depends. You can also get a professional to help you to answer it. But whatever it is, let me give our audience 4 things,
Okay.
or 3, and that will help you.
Okay.
Because to discover your purpose, apart from the identity issue, it's baseline for us Christians. So if you do not know Christ, go kneel down, accept him as your Lord and Savior. That's the first one. That gives you your identity. That one provides a general purpose for you.
Okay.
Everybody who is a child of God has a general purpose. Then now you must find your specific individual assignment, which is what we are talking about.
Yes.
What is your assignment? That assignment, 3 things to help you.
Okay.
Now, think very quietly and deeply about your life. At what point are you glad, mad, or sad? These 3 things give you a pointer to your purpose in life.
At what point are you glad?
Yes.
Mad, or sad?
Yes, 3. Mad for anger. What makes you angry? You know, it's a pointer to the course that you must pursue.
What makes you angry?
Yes. What takes you off? Because you know it can be the pointer for pursuing your purpose. Wow. Now in the US, there's an organization called MADD, M-A-D-D.
Okay.
Madness Against Drunk Driving.
Okay.
And it was started by a woman whose 14-year-old son was knocked down by a trucker. So she started this movement against drunk driving.
Okay.
So that anger or that sadness at losing her son gave her purpose.
Wow.
And then what makes you sad? We can be watching, you and I can be watching a movie, and yet it will hit you at a deeper emotional level than it will hit me.
Yes.
Because there's something in it that makes you sad. After somebody will say, when I see children begging by the street, and a lot of drivers will just pass by the same scene,
Yes.
nothing to
They don't feel anything.
Exactly. So what makes you sad is a pointer to your purpose. Then what makes you glad, happy? You know, my happiest moment in life is when I'm with children.
Okay.
So every year I host the summer camp, and it's my happiest moment. When I host the summer camp, I sleep for maximum 3-4 hours a day. And yet I don't get eye bags. Why? Because I'm very happy. I'm very excited. And I smile from morning till night, even though I'm not eating and I'm not sleeping.
Wow.
When I'm in greens, trees, woods, green
Nature.
grass, I am at my happiest. Nothing can ever replace that feeling. We call it flow state. I'm in flow state and I'm in green places. So what makes you happy? You know, I'm talking about the inner joy.
Yeah.
Not the one induced by Coca-Cola or Indomie.
Or other things.
Okay. So these 3 are pointers to, without even any assessment. If you can just sit down, take a journal and just note now the instances in your life, these 3 things. And then you can be looking at incidents, experiences and things. And sometimes you see that one thing runs through all of them. It is a pointer to your purpose in life.
Can you successfully lead other people when you have not taken the time to discover who you are?
You can, in a way that is if you are inauthentic. You know, some people, they are in the habit of just listening to other people. They hear some things, they read some things, they won't practice it themselves, and then they take it and they also start
Teaching it.
Yes. So yes, you can bluff and you can pretend that you know and are leading some people somewhere. But there will come a day when people will find out that you are a fluke.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the best is that, you see, you cannot point people in a way that you have not passed yourself.
Yes.
Exactly. That's the difference between a coach and a mentor.
Okay.
So for you to be an authentic leader, you need to have experienced that which you are claiming. You cannot be a life coach when you don't know what you are talking about. You cannot be a mentor to people when you have not experienced what they are experiencing. So if you want to be authentic, if you want to teach people from a place of inner peace and inner truth, you need to first develop yourself. You need to first understand yourself. You need to first do what you're asking people to do. Then you have the moral right to be able to point people to that
How
direction.
is social media influencing our authentic self in the way we are discovering it, in the way we are copying others, or maybe I should just say self-sabotaging our purpose?
Social media plays what we call performative function. It makes it very easy for us to put up appearances that are not real. You can wear some clothes, stand by somebody's car and post.
And add filters.
It makes it very, very easy.
Yeah.
Like the guy who was in his bedroom and was doing a video that he's in London. Only for people to hear, yogurt.
This is the London yogurt.
So social media provides you, and today with the podcast equipment and the phones and the this, you can easily fool people, into keeping up appearances. Today, there's a class or a profession called social media influencer.
Yes.
And people aspire to be influencers. And all these people are doing is just selling us something. One, there are those of them for which what they are selling is authentic. It is them.
Yeah.
They just are opening their lives to us. And then there are those of them who are just acting it out for you and I, so that we can place them on a certain pedestal. These two people will achieve two different purposes. So, yes, you can use social media, like I say, pictures, backgrounds, videos, songs, and others to create a certain impression. But at your core, when you are alone, will you feel that which you are projecting to the world at your core? So if you are not fulfilled, if you are not grounded, and you want the world to buy the fluff, we will buy it. But what will be the exchange? What will be the exchange? Yeah.
Bernard Avle said something that has stayed with me for a very long time. He said a lot of people are overexposed but underdeveloped. If today we are speaking the truth, if somebody is realizing that actually they are overexposed and they are underdeveloped, like you said, they have picked up on something somebody said or something they saw and they've run with it, and they have not stopped to consider their authentic self. What would be your advice to someone who is coming to this truth?
Who are you? Pause, reflect, and discover yourself. That's my advice. Know your and live for you.
Live for you.
Yeah, don't live for other people. Don't live for social media likes and the public applause. Live for you. Live in your jemba. The Japanese have a concept called jemba. Jemba is the right place. You can do the wrong thing in the right place.
Yes.
And you can do the right thing in the wrong place. But jemba is the right place. So live for you. Do the right thing at the right time. For you. Everything that you do in this world must serve your purpose and must be in purpose, must be in jemba. That is when you are happy and you can sleep when you sleep. You see, you can borrow money from friends to buy cars that you cannot afford. You can go and take a mortgage and move your children into a house that you cannot afford. You can move your children to schools that you cannot afford. But the fundamentals will expose you at night when you cannot sleep. So live for you. Many years ago, my last job before I retired and founded LeadAfrique was governance advisor at DFID. That's my last job. And the day I got that, the day I started work, 14th October 2011, do you know the car I bought? Picanto. Kia Picanto.
Okay.
And I drove that Kia Picanto for all my time as the governance advisor at DFID. Yes, I went to the showroom. By the way, that was the first time I was buying a brand new car. It was a Kia Picanto.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it Those days, I used to spend 43 cedis on petrol a week.
Okay.
And I commuted from Adenta to the British High Commission every day. 43 cedis a week on petrol. Because I was driving a Kia pickup. You see, live for you. Live within your means. Live in your gender. Live in your purpose. That is the highest form of fulfillment and satisfaction. But if you want to live for likes, if you want to live for their applause and all, at the end of the day, you come home and then you are empty. You are not happy. You are not fulfilled. There is a local balance called outside gentility. Home cry.
You live for the applause.
And outside applause,
And yet,
you are empty.
let's redirect the conversation to parenting. What role do parents play in shaping identity, purpose? Like I have 2 young kids. What are some of the things that I need to start paying attention to so that these children will start unearthing, their gifts, their talents, the things that will lead them to their purpose without me pushing them in the way of ambition, getting grades, and then at the end, they have nothing.
Number one is that your children will learn more from you by observing you and emulating you than by what you say.
True.
So part of the bigger conversation is you yourself, your choices, your behaviors, the words you use, how you conduct yourself, how you comport yourself.
It's coming back to your identity.
Exactly.
Before you start raising children.
Before you transmit it to the children. In education, they have about 8 curriculums. And one of the curriculum they have is the null curriculum. The null curriculum is not what is taught by teachers, but it is the environment and the atmosphere in the school. It teaches you. Nobody is telling you that do this and this, but just by being in the school, just by what the school, even the walls of the school, the colors, the architecture teaches you and shapes your conduct and behavior. That's a null curriculum. It's the same at home. By your choices, the way you comport yourself, the way you talk to your children's mother will teach them about marriage more than any marriage counseling will ever do.
Right.
So that's the first one. Secondly, pay attention to the children. Let's stop this. You'll be a doctor. You'll be an engineer. Let's stop it. Okay. Pay attention to the natural inclinations and proclivities of your children. And your job as a parent is to enable it. Don't force it. By force, I want you to be an architect because all my life I wanted to be an architect and I couldn't get it to. So
you have to live it out for me.
Parents, children are not an extension of you. Your children are not an extension of you. They are human beings created in the image and likeness of God. And so why do you want them to become your photocopy? Why do you want your children to become your photocopy? So let's stop foisting career choices on our children. At the end of the day, when your child is 40 years, would you want them to be successful or happy?
Happy.
Exactly. So that should shape your parenting and your choices. And then number 3 is that you need to be intentional with how you are relating or raising the children. Intentional choices. Do you know that I was so intentional with how my children were born? All my children were born with music in the room.
Okay.
Yes. All my children were born with music in the room. There was classical music being played when they came into the world. The first sound they heard was classical music.
Really?
Yes. You have to be intentional. You have to be deliberate with the choices that you make as far as the children are concerned. Because you see, as parents, we create the atmosphere that grows the children. Do you know we don't watch TV at home?
Okay.
When the children are younger, we watch TV only during vacation. So we switch on the TV every 3 months. And now that they are teenagers, we don't even switch it on. I don't remember the last time I switched on my TV. Yes. And it was because when they were younger, we wanted to ensure that no foreign elements raise our children in our absence. So you have to be intentional. The choice of TV programs to watch, the choice of channels to have in your room. Everything is training our children. I tell parents when I teach that at home, everything is a curriculum.
Oh.
Yes, we call it teaching moments. Everything is a curriculum. How you play with the children, the food you eat, how you eat, everything, they are picking it and it shapes them, especially when they are under 7 years old. Yeah, that is where their worldview is formed. It's called the imprint stage of development, child development. Everything happening before a child is 7 sticks with them and forms them for life. So from the age of 18 months to 7 years, that's the period you have, the window you have. Whatever happens after that, it will take grace. You know that when you pour concrete and it's wet, it's very easy to shape it, to do anything you want with it. When it hardens, what do you have to do? You must now break with a hammer before you can shape it. That's the thing about when you have to trace back to the second level of the Dilts model behavior. When it has been formed, it's very difficult to change, which is why people go into rehab and come back and
relapse again.
Because they are now trying to change at the second level. So you have to be very intentional as a parent with everything that you're doing. And then I think I'll add the fourth one, which is that just enable your children's development. Let us stop trying to direct. You know, the job that the children in primary 1 today will do, it has not yet been invented.
Okay.
Yes, the job that they will do, those in primary 1 today, it has not yet been invented.
Okay.
When you and I were growing up, did you ever hear social media influencer? Teacher, when I grow up, I want to be a social media.
It did not exist.
It did not exist.
No.
But in 15 years, at that time, it didn't exist.
Yes.
Was there something like content creator?
No.
When you were growing up?
No.
It didn't exist, but today it is there. So as technology, it changes the dynamics and everything. And I hear that some of them are making $15,000 a month.
Yeah.
How many bank CEOs take home that pay? So the game has changed. All right. So parents need to be aware of this. Your job is, for me, the job is that be very serious and very aggressive with the development of global competencies or soft skills, like strategic thinking, creative thinking, problem solving, communication skills, leadership skills. Just develop that in your children. When you have developed that, any job that they do, they will be successful in it.
Soft skills.
Soft skills. Now look at camera work. Those days you have to have, the camera was like a photo.
You needed muscles to carry it.
Exactly. Today you fix the camera on top of the room. So the cameraman of today is not carrying the camera, but he must know the software and the technology to control the camera.
Right.
The skill level has what? Changed. So if that person is creative, if that person is strategic, he can do the work. Whereas 10 years ago, they needed how to physically carry the camera and operate it. That's why I'm saying that place emphasis more on the development of the soft skills. The hard one is going to change.
What would you say to parents who get to the point where they basically allow their children to be on autopilot? So they learn more from friends, they learn more from TV, like you said, then they go for all kinds of camps. They engage them with everything else, but they are devoid of the presence of their parents. How does that affect the development and the growth of a child? Greatly.
That's passive parenting.
Okay.
I have another term. I call them ATM parents. ATM. Daddy, school fees. Oh. Daddy, we are going for shopping.
This is it. Yeah.
Daddy, my friends and I are going for a party. The parents have checked out. It's called passive parenting. And in the Bible, Samuel was a passive parent.
Yes.
And he paid dearly for it. So if you are a passive parent, remember that it is a misnomer for another child to train your child. It is a misnomer for TV programs or cartoons to train your child.
Yeah.
The parent's primary duty and responsibility is to train the child.
Not the school.
Not the school, not the church. Not the church complements, the school complements, but it is not the primary. They are secondary, even tertiary. The primary caregiver, the primary trainer is the parent. So then share that responsibility. Don't let money buy that responsibility. It is your job to center your children. It is your job to pass on the tenets, the values, and the identity of your family to your children. You cannot offload that to any other entity. When you do that, no matter who you are, you have failed as a parent.
Wow.
It's passive parenting.
So back to our conversation. Self. Going back to alter behavior, going back to change lifestyles when you take that pause. Is there a point one can get to where they realize the errors of the past and what they need to do to correct them? How do you now begin to implement them? Is it a once run through and you are there, or now you have to change habits?
Once again, another very intelligent question. Recently, I'm counseling a young man. And the first time I started talking to him, I said, tell me your life story.
Okay.
And when he started. So I was outlining the patterns and everything. And then when he finished, I threw back the patterns. I said, Now the light bulb was switched on, and he could appreciate himself better and understand himself better because there were clear patterns that had shaped who he had become. It is the same with a lot of people. So if you don't pause to reflect, you might even miss the lessons that your life has been teaching you. And if you cannot do that by yourself, then get a professional, a life coach, a counselor, a therapist, anybody to help you to be able to come to that point of reflection, that point of backtracking, that point of retracing, that point of rediscovery of who you are as an individual.
What are some of the things that we must begin to unlearn?
A lot.
Especially in the corporate space, professionals who are at a certain age, but they haven't taken the pause. What are some of the things that we need to, you can mention that will light the bulb for people to realize that we need to start unlearning, possibly relearning?
Number one, you are not your job. You must unlearn that. Okay. You are not your job. Yeah. Jobs, titles, positions are temporary. You can be the MD of a bank, but it's temporary.
Yes.
You can be the IGP of Ghana, it's temporary. So you are not your job. Okay. So when you are in a certain position, know that it is temporary. You are only a steward. You will hand it over at one point. So don't let your title define who you are.
Right.
Do you know who I am? I'm the chief accountant of this bank. I'm a multinational company. And so one day you go on retirement, you will hand over that chair and that office. So you are not your job. Unlearn that. And once you come to that position that your job is temporary, it changes how you relate with everybody else.
Okay.
Today you are the head of marketing, big bank. Yeah, people are coming for sponsor, so you think you have a right. Next minute you are on retirement.
Yeah.
So you are not your job. Number two, pay attention to how you show up to your friends. there are a number of things that are driving how you show up.
Okay.
So pay attention to it. For instance, do you get angry very easily? Do you get angry when people don't show you respect? Why do you demand respect? Why do you clamor for respect? Why do you drive on respect? It means there are some things, the wires are not connecting properly. So you need to work with a professional to retrace your steps. Okay. So pay attention to what takes you off, what makes you angry. You know, some things you just explode. And sometimes you sit and realize, oh, why did I even do that? Exactly. Yeah. So pay attention to the things that take you off. It is an indication of some of the elements in the Dilts model that you need to go and work on. Okay. It could be an indication of a wounded child syndrome. It could be an indication of your attachment style showing up in your work. Okay. So you need to unlearn that one. This is not an exercise you can do alone. You have to work with a professional. Okay. Yeah. So you need to unlearn that one. Yeah, you need to unlearn that one too. So I think if you can work on these two, and then let me add a third one. Okay. I asked this when I train leaders. One day, you go on retirement. All the staff will gather in a big conference room and they will be saying, reminiscing about your time with the organization and what you did. What would they say about you when you are gone?
Who will cry when you die?
Who will cry when you die?
Right.
Exactly. So reflect on that. I think that will shape your working relationship.
How key is mentorship? Or now at God as CEO, we like to dwell on discipleship. Okay. Especially with leaders in the marketplace, in raising a generation of people who know who they are, who know their identity in Christ, who are not tied to titles and all the applause of men. How important is the Christian leader in the marketplace? First, knowing themselves and also being intentional about discipling somebody.
I think it plays a very big role. In the Bible, you see very good examples of people who mentored people. Yeah. You know, and in the corporate world, it's a very important leadership development or personal development tool. You know, there's a saying that you can see far when you stand on the shoulders of giants. I struggled and took me 7 years to know myself, if I struggled and it took me 19 years to discover myself, I can pass that on to you in a 1 hour meeting. Yes. So what that helps you is that you short circuit 19 years of hard-won experience. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You know, so mentoring is everything. It helps to guide, it helps to shape, it helps to support, it helps to direct our professional growth. One of the things I tell people, I have a mentor. When my wife and I married years back, we took 3 marital couples as our mentors. Okay. 3 couples. And we will have regular fellowship with them, regular meetings with them, learning from them, asking them questions about different aspects of marriage and relationships. Right. So mentoring helps you to rise faster. Mentoring helps you to have a lighter walk on the walk of life. Mentoring helps you to sense check whether you are doing the right thing. Mentoring helps to make things easier and better for you. So if you don't have a mentor, and I encourage you to have different kinds of mentors. Okay. Have a religious mentor, somebody who helps you in your spiritual life. Have a professional mentor, somebody who is in your line, your profession. Who are you looking up to? It can either be a mentor or a role model. And then have a general mentor, somebody you check, on life issues with, somebody that you have conversations and other kind of things with. These are people, and then if you are married, have a relationship or marital mentor, a couple that you look up to, a couple that guides you, that shapes you, that can tell you, hey, stop what you are doing.
That can call you to order.
Exactly, that can call you to order.
So 6 words at the end of everything, at the end of it all, 6 words. Thou good and faithful servant. as we are discovering our why and our what in the corporate world, in ministry, whatever it is, how do we live up to those 6 words?
You know, electricity poles are useless without connections to the transformers.
Yes.
Without God, we are useless.
Yeah.
So the first thing, trace your identity and your source to Him. Trace your purpose to His divine assignment for you. And when you have found it, live it with full alacrity.
Okay. Wow. Any final words, Mr. Ohene-Effah? You've given us a lot to think about.
It's been a pleasure having this conversation. It's been as enlightening for me as it has been for the audience. I would say that the greatest tragedy is to die without your purpose, having discovered your purpose and living it. So the 4 most important questions you can ask yourself this year, if you want 2026 to be the best year of your life: who am I? Why am I on earth? What is important to me? What should I do with my life? Find the answers to that question, and you will live a happy, fulfilled, everlasting life.
Amen.
Amen.